Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Did you miss a show? Download the podcast now.
Hey, it's Elena J. Have you ever had a weird roommate? Well, back in the day, JJ had a weird roommate that used to do what? Sitting in his boxers in the living room? Plus, what's the best job that you ever had or your dream job? And for group therapy, listener Missy calls in and says that her fiancé, who's a guy, has a lot of girlfriends and she's feeling a bit uneasy about this. What would you do if you were in her situation? All of this plus so much more is coming up in the Playhouse Podcast, which starts now.
Hey, what if your roommate never ever refrigerated their ranch?
That's one way of keeping you away from their food.
Well, I think you could die that way, right? Doesn't that have to be refrigerated once it's opened?
In college, I had a friend that had a roommate because I basically lived at home for college, but I would crash there and they would never sleep in their bed. They would always sleep in the communal couch area.
No bueno.
And they would always try to make as much noise as possible when they woke up to deter her from sleeping out there. But
these stories on BuzzFeed are amazing. One of my roommates labeled each individual orange cutie with a B. That was her first initial. Who does that? Yet she had no qualms about using all of my things.
Terry says, my roommate watched the test patterns on TV stoned and would laugh his head off. See, I'd like to just watch that.
Oh my God, I swear to God, I've known a guy that did that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe. This one is really, really good too, guys. When I moved with my friend, I thought it would be a snap, but forgot to mention, he gets night terrors and is very vocal about it. I came rushing into his bedroom with a baseball bat, ready to strike. I almost killed him.
This one from 6164. My ex-boyfriend caught our roommate hanging out with himself under my blanket, so we had to kick him out. Yes, that would require a kick out.
Elena, weirdest thing you've ever had a roommate do?
Yeah, my roommate would just bring home random guys. And that actually reminds me, one of the guys actually came into my room at night. Jeez. And my girlfriend at the time, we were both sleeping, and I woke up to him and he was drunk. And he apparently thought he was in the bathroom.
Right.
And so he was trying to take off his pants. And I just froze and I started hitting my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God. Because I didn't know if this was real, you know? I'm like, I think this is real. I don't think this is a dream. And
listen, that could easily happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Remember the about 3-month stretch that you came in here smelling like curry?
Yes.
Kat was, I
forgot I lived there too.
She's just started living here, and it was like the upper, like the attic of a house. And the other girl that lived in the attic, she cooked like everything with curry. It stunk so bad.
She worked in town here. She would clean all night, but I never saw her. I would just hear her. It was wooden stairs leading up to the attic where I lived, and all I would hear was she'd lock her door, and then she'd just run everywhere. I'd never catch a glimpse of her. It was weird. Did you read Brad's?
No.
Brad's is yours.
What was it?
Tell everybody yours.
So my roommate was a huge stoner my sophomore year. He's from California. Oh my God. Brad, that's exactly what he would get high.
I can't listen to this.
And he would sit in his boxers. Now, again, if you've seen a guy with boxers, if they decide to sit a certain way, the boxers don't contain all of the man.
Ew.
Okay, that's why I think boxer brief's a better look. But he would sit on his futon, and we, to save room in our dorm, nobody had beds. We each had a futon, so that during the day they'd fold up, and you had couches. If you had people in there, you just had more room.
Right.
But he'd roll his futon out, and before bed, he'd sit on with his boxers and himself, and would put his foot in his mouth and chew his toenails. I know he would. And he was like 6'3", but he was probably like 90. Are you really throwing up? He was like 92 pounds. He was just so skinny, which that always amazes me too. If you're a huge pothead, I mean, there was Funyuns and peanut butter cups everywhere in our room, but he would chew on his toenails and he would just stop. And he would, it was the grossest thing in the world. He would chew off all of his toenails. And I'd be like, Ben, do you want a clipper for that? No, man, I got this.
Oh, my God.
And in the background, all you got to imagine is Peter Tosh or Bob Marley music playing. And he had the Jamaican flag in our room and stuff like that. He was so committed to everybody knowing that he was a pothead.
I can handle a lot of gross things, but when I hear that someone eats their toenails, It's too much.
Part of me was like, man, I wish I wasn't so fat and stocky because I'd like to at least think that I could get my toe to my mouth.
Ew.
But there's no way I could. If I had to chew my toenails off to save my life, I'd die. There's no way I'd be able to pull this off. Let me read you my favorite one off BuzzFeed, though, because this one, you know how we get irritated by people who just do dumb things, but it really doesn't matter to us?
Yeah.
My roommate would not finish a jar of salsa to save her life. In our fridge, at any time, we had 7 half-open jars of salsa, and when I asked why she didn't finish him, she said she didn't want to get her hands dirty by reaching into the jar.
That is true. The mouth of the jar is just far too small.
Don't you guys just pour salsa out into a Tupperware and eat it out of there?
No. I like to just take the cold jar and just dip. And then you get it all around right here, your knuckles.
Yeah, I know.
And then it smells. And it smells like onions, and it's just, I don't know.
You had the weirdest roommate, and they did what?
Weird news.
Totally forgot about this game show. Remember Minute to Win It?
With Howie, yeah.
Guinness World Records America.
I'm setting a new world's record.
A new record. World record.
You're looking at a guy who's going to set a new world record.
A new record.
That's another world record.
All right, David Ross kind of played this game, I guess. This was one of the challenges where you take the cookie and you move it from your forehead to your mouth, you know, and you got to do that. He did it in 8.8 seconds. So now, set a new Guinness World Record.
This was one of the things that we had to do. Elaine, remember college orientation where, you had your section. Oh, did you live in the dorms?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so you had your section, and then it was like the guy section, and you guys had to do like all these games and stuff like that. This was one of the games.
Yeah.
And I just remember like all these hot girls you had never met before are trying to worm this cookie down their face, and you're just either you're super turned on or you're like, no.
Sizing them up.
Yeah.
Can you put me in a bad mood, please? When you're in radio broadcasting school, they're like, listen, you're going to end up reading obits in Iowa for like about 10 years. Paid in ramen noodles. And never thought, cut to almost 17 years in the biz. I'm reading an obit, but this one worth it. She's from Idaho, and it's going viral because of her humor. She wrote her own obit before she passed away on August 17th. Her name is Holly Blair. And it says, Holly Blair exploded into glitter and bats on August 17th, 2020. And she is survived by 4 spoiled cats, 2 stinky dogs, 3 kids, and a husband of little to no importance. Wow. We ask that everyone carve a jack-o'-lantern on Halloween.
What did you just say?
Carve a jack-o'-lantern. What a horrible name. Carve a pumpkin on Halloween this year in honor of her. We all hail the Wicked Witch of Juniper Road. Jeez, I got to bail.
That was super funny and witty till I got the tips of my ears turned really, really hot here.
Okay.
Gosh, you're a broadcast professional, huh? Welcome in. I'm JJ. Kat's here. Elena, what's good?
Have you ever worked a job that just sucked?
Other than this one,
This job doesn't
this
suck.
one's fun. I do like this one, but I worked as a farmhand for a few summers, and that was it. It seemed like it was never going to end. The worst is when you're riding beans and you're just sitting there walking behind a flatbed like trailer, and all you do is pick up big rocks and throw it on there. That was horrible. And then baling hay and standing in the top of a hayloft at 110, 115 degrees and just sweating. You just sweat for 9 hours.
Mine wasn't
was the worst.
strenuous at all. It was just so boring. Like working at my mom's school in community ed, I would have to open up the building for the basketball tournament, set out all the folding chairs, and then just sit there for 9-10 hours sometimes as the tournament goes on. You can't leave for lunch. You have to pack yourself a lunch. If you don't have that, then you go snoop through all the teachers' desks, try to find some food.
No, all you find is fifths of vodka. Well, how about you, Elena? Worst job?
I would just say working with kids. I was the kids were crazy, and I had no idea how to control them. It wasn't really a job, I guess, but I was a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
And so they're all rowdy, and they ran around the entire church throwing wet paper towels at each other, and I just stood there like, I have no idea.
It's in the Bible.
What I'm supposed to do.
Leviticus. They used to do that back in the day.
Yeah, it was terrible. But, all these 3 jobs that we just talked about obviously suck, but there are definitely worse jobs out there. And they just did a new survey. And so these are the top 3 worst jobs that you could have. And this is all about the job misery index. So how much misery it just causes you. So number 3, dining room and cafeteria attendants and bartenders helpers. That job misery is at 90.6.
So
it's like
bartender helper, you fill the ice wells and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Go get more cranberry juice when they need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Number 2 is dishwashers. They're at 91.4. And then the worst job, parking lot attendant, 97.2.
Yeah.
So you sit
Job
there.
misery.
You got to give somebody a ticket when they come through, make change. If you're at a sporting event and you go through, like, and you got to park there and it's like a $10 ticket, but all you have is a 20 and you have to go to the one that has cash, like that, I agree. I think
That job will be obsolete in just moments.
It should be obsolete by now.
I know.
It sucks, but it should be. You should just be able to go to the app and plug in your parking spot and, you get a ticket if you're, there too long. But man, what is that? 97% of people hate that job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But instead of focusing on like this jobs that suck, I kind of want to turn this into something positive.
Okay.
Best job in America. What do you think is the best job? Like, is it the job that you're working right now or a job that you had? What is the best job for you?
I would say other than waking up at 2:30 in the morning, this would be the best job.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. We get to joke around. And our listeners are awesome. We get to have a ton of fun.
So if I would say based off what I love would be the best job, I would say like an esthetician or a facialist, because you know how much I love popping zits and watching zits pop and bringing blackheads to
So
a
you
head.
want to be Dr. Pimple Popper?
Meh. Yeah. I mean, that's a bit extreme. Like I can do like this stuff on my chin. I can do this stuff. I love when I leave feeling amazing. So if I could give that to somebody else, that would be fun.
We should get her to do that show in a bikini.
Yes.
I think that'd be better.
I will get on that today.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Super important.
She does it for me. Elena, what would be your ultimate job then?
Well, I would say my fiance's job is really cool. The company she works for just, they give her so much free crap all the time. She can go online, and if she needs a new charger for her laptop, she's a software engineer for like a pretty big retail company that's down in Minneapolis area.
You're being so coy.
I know. I don't really want to say what it is, but I think you kind of know. Yeah, it's a great company. Yeah. But she can just go online and they'll send her free stuff. Once everybody started working from home due to COVID, they were like, hey, go online and we have this like office shop for you. And you can purchase, basically they'll purchase for you free desks and chairs and whatever. And they'll send it to your house for you.
Well, that really hit the target.
Yeah.
What I would say though, listen, I've always heard this. I heard this quote when I was about 13, and one of my favorite baseball players at the time, his name was Mark Grace. He was a first baseman for the Cubs, and they had just given him a huge contract extension. And he was getting interviewed before the game, and they said, Mark, what do you believe about this? Like baseball players make too much money. You're going to make $4 million a year for the next 5 years. And he looked at the guy dead in the eye, and he goes, if they want to pay me to play a kid's game and stand in the sun all summer long, I'm going to take as much money as they'll give me.
Yeah.
And I went, that's it. That would be it for me. Like, if you're playing professional baseball, I get the stress, but some of these guys are so good they don't have to worry about it. They're making mad cash. They get to play a little kid's game, and that's it. They get all the best therapy equipment, all the best supplements, all the best trainers. They get to go out there and just play.
Oh, if only that could have been you.
Missed it by that much. So for you, what would be the ultimate best job? Ashley, how are you this morning?
Great.
What is the ultimate job for Ashley?
I was a stagehand for 10 years in Arizona, and that had to be the best job.
So stagehand for like plays or concerts or both?
Concerts, yep, for Live Nation. So we did kind of everything, from corporate gigs to like rock concerts and stuff.
So you had the all-access pass around your neck, baby.
Oh, yeah. I, seen New Kids on the Block when they started touring again. I, fangirled so hard. Took my dolls.
Oh, that's normal. I'm sure they really like seeing you standing on the side of the stage with your New Kids dolls.
All of them in your
They loved it, and they signed it, and they were like, how old are you? And I was like, we don't have to talk about that, okay?
Now, who is the coolest person that you met while you worked in that industry?
Ozzy Osbourne. So he came up to me and he said something, and I have no idea what he said, but it sounded really nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks. And then I kept trying to walk away because I had some time sensitive stuff I had to do, and he just kept talking, and I'm like, I don't guy's awesome. What is he saying?
I
need a translator.
Sharon. And yeah, I bet that would be pretty tough to listen to that. But that's nice. That's nice to hear that he was really cool because rock and roll stars don't have to be
well,
like that.
especially Ozzy. Like, I'm sure that guy had a billion things going on.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you being on the show.
All right. You are what you eat is what they say. They also
Then I am awesome. I've been eating awesomeness all the time.
That's not a thing. But obviously, they know their stuff when they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
I think that's
sets
crap.
you off
That's-
on the right foot. I'm less crabby, am I not? If I get a little something, Amy.
Yeah, if you have a bomb burrito at early in the morning,
It's not on this list. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 things. I want one of you guys choose just one, okay? And I'm going to tell you what that food says about you, okay? Lox bagel and cream cheese, peanut butter on toast, tea, cereal, or just toast with butter. You have to choose one of those 5.
I'm gonna go peanut butter toast.
Okay?
Yep, same.
Really?
Yeah, I used to have that every day back
Both
in
of
high
your
school and
answers.
college.
Means you're passionate lovers.
Damn right.
Oh,
Nice.
My girl's smiling all
You
the
ever
time.
incorporate some peanut butter on the neck?
No.
You ever put it on her forehead so you could cut her nails? Those dog owners that do that, I just can't. Are you picturing it? I'm a lox and bagel and cream cheese gal. I get it at the airport. Every time we travel, I get it. You're just like, that's so disgusting. I love it. Just some cold
It's
salmon.
nasty because what's that seafood do to you in the plane? Like, you're not thinking of anyone
Don't
else.
worry about it. I don't burp it up. I don't do anything.
Oh, you don't
that
shift weight?
Could offend anybody.
An hour into the flight and then
No.
gas out the whole
Cold
cabin.
cream cheese, some capers on a delicious toasted bagel. Oh, what a
I don't
great
eat
way to
breakfast.
start-
Is that your ultimate breakfast?
Yes, if I could have that for breakfast, I would have it for breakfast every single day.
Elena, what would be your ultimate breakfast? One thing you'd have every single day.
eggs
Oh yeah.
with ham and onions in it and cheese. Ooh.
Dang. So like an omelet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But scrambled. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yum.
I'm French toast. If I could eat one thing every day and it would be healthy and you won't have to worry about, what's in it. French toast with a little cinnamon on it.
Okay.
And then cinnamon flavored warm syrup.
Nice.
Woo!
All right. Well, I'm sorry I did this to you so early, but it's nice to know. But now that I chose that means I am the highest extrovert that you could possibly reach. But I don't feel like I'm an extrovert. I feel like I'm a little bit of both.
You do a lot of sharing when people don't ask.
That could be true.
That is true.
But then
What does it
you're
say
happy
about?
that you didn't ask because now you know a little bit more about me.
Does it say anything about most likely to ride a recumbent bike in public?
Let me read a little bit more into this. You're dumb.
Time for group therapy here in the Playhouse. It's very simple. If you got, any kind of dilemma on your hands, call, text, email, hit us with a DM. We'd love to bring you on the show. And our listening audience has always been so great at solving problems. So let's get to Missy. Thanks for being on the show. What's good?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan, and thank you so much for picking up.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. It made my morning. What's on your mind?
I'm engaged to a guy.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yay.
Thank you.
And how do and you have to say it as fiancé.
My
okay? You have to say
fiancé.
fiancé.
My fiance.
There it is.
All right. So what's going on with your fiancé?
Okay, well, he's amazing. It's just one little thing. He has this group of friends from college who are all women. And he's really, really close to them, and it's always been a little bit under my skin about how close he is to these girls.
Was it a conversation in the beginning like, if you're going to take me, you got to take all of them? You know, like when a mom's like, listen, I have like 5 kids. It's me and them. We're a package deal.
No, we never actually had that conversation. But, I've talked to them, and they're like, oh, no, he's just like our big brother. We loved him.
Has he ever hooked up with any of them?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, then I
Okay.
think you're fine. Because listen, any guy that's really good friends with a girl that he hasn't already hooked up with probably doesn't want to.
Maybe they friend zoned him right away. He's like a really cool guy. Obviously he is because you're marrying him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So what else?
But,
What's the problem?
They just seem too close to him. Like, they touch him a lot. Well, I mean, not right now, but,
Right.
I mean, they're very huggy and they're touchy, and when they sit close together, they, like, put their head on his shoulder and things like that. It's just, they just feel too close to him. And
Yeah.
I've tried to talk to him about it before, and he's just like, oh, there's nothing to be worried about.
There's a weird double standard here because any girl that's like really, really great friends with a guy, people immediately think that something's going on. But I think guys can be good friends with girls. I think that's okay.
And I think this is where you can test his trust and just say, listen, I'm not feeling great about this. And maybe he can just try to avoid those situations where they would be touchy-feely with him.
And what if he wants to bring one of them into the relationship? Would you be down with that?
No.
No, that's a quick no.
That's a quick no.
All right, well, we're going to throw this out and see what our listeners think about this. This is always good group therapy for us. So I appreciate you calling in and being honest, and just turn up your radio and kind of hear what everybody has to say, okay? All right, so there's our group therapy. Christine, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Great. Thanks for being on the show. How would you handle this if your fiancé had like a harem of really hot, good-looking friends that were girls? How would you handle this?
Well, for me, the college years were the best years of my life. I won't admit that to my husband, but they were. And they are all my best friends. I still hang out with them, and I've even taken my husband, like one of my college friends, Gator, lives down in Florida. We went and stayed with him for 11 days on vacation, and we go and see all my college friends all the time, so my husband has to deal with it, but... You know, like I told them, none of us, there's 3 girls and 12 guys that hung out together all the time. Nothing ever happened, at least not with me. And I don't
Lies.
You never let Gator push up on it there, Christine?
No, never.
Gator.
Gator
always gets his...
So how would you handle this, though? What would your suggestion be to Missy as far as how to handle her fiancé here?
I would tell her to just be in the mix, be there, and as long as she's not feeling, you know, we don't touch though, so I guess if they're kind of touching him and a little too close, that would be odd. I mean, we give the hug because we see each other like maybe once every 2-3 years.
Like a bro hug,
being
though.
that they live in Florida. Yeah, but
I agree with you.
Else.
You got to include him in everything. You know, Derek's invited to everything. He just doesn't drink. You know what I mean? So he doesn't want to be in that mix. But you just got to show them there's nothing to hide. You come with us wherever we go.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
Yeah.
Christine, I really appreciate you being on the show and spending some time with us. Thank you very much. I got time for one more call here real quick in group therapy. Matt, what's good, man? How you living?
Hey, brother. Good. Yourself?
Good. How would you handle this if you were Missy? What would you tell your fiance?
Very valid points by Christine, by the way. Good work on that. Me personally, I would go at it a little more aggressively. You kind of want to set the tone, especially being future newlyweds here.
Yeah.
You are right. You do want to set that trust and establish that. You don't want to say, you know, God, I don't believe you, this and that. You don't want to go down that road. But I would be very assertive in this fashion. I would let him know what you expect going forward and lay that out there. Nip it in the bud right away. If he's doing something that you don't approve of, then he needs to know that and the reasons why.
Do you feel that if a guy has got a whole bunch of hot friends from college that he's probably gotten at least with one of them?
Oh man, that's a tough situation. I can't say either way because I know some dudes do and some dudes don't.
Plus, girls are scandalous. Is that what you're saying? I hear you saying that they're all scandalous. And
He did not say that.
I'm going to stay away from that.
They're all marriage wreckers?
Odds are that he maybe tried something with one of them and then it just didn't work out. I mean, that's how you find who you're supposed to be with. You got to kiss a lot of frogs, man.
Exactly. Otherwise, too, I mean, he could just be a very nice guy. And obviously, like you had stated, that's why she's choosing to marry him.
And you do not get married.
I don't want to sell him short or anything. You know, you can't accuse him of doing something that he maybe truthfully didn't do.
Yeah.
However, what I would do if I were her as well is I would sit down and have a chat with these ladies and say, this is what's going to change. This is what I expect.
I wouldn't do that.
Listen, I think Matt's onto something here.
I would backdoor him on that, and I would approach it twofold. I would approach him with it and the girls and just say, you know, ladies, this is maybe what went on, but this is how it's going to be.
I like your suggestion, but I think it should be like a roundtable discussion and just bra and panties. And I think that
throw some pillows in the mix.
A couple of drinks, bra and panty pillow fight, find out who comes out on top and who gets the guy. That's what I hear you saying.
Neighbors 2?
An old-fashioned game of strip poker can solve everything.
Thanks, Matt.
Haven't you ever seen Neighbors 2 where they all are in that room and they're all texting each other? That's what's going to happen is that if she sits them down, they're going to be texting him. Your girl is talking to us right now, trying to set her alpha status. And I don't know. I think she just needs to trust him.
Podcast. Download the podcast.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryant Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend. Immediately.
And hey, we have more podcast episodes available, so go check them out right now. Do it. Come on, do it. Seriously, do it.